A shocking new survey has discovered that only 23% of independents think the economy is on the right track. Michael Snyder reports, hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent to persuade the American people to vote for either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, but ultimately two things are probably going to matter more than anything else. Millions of Americans will be basing their votes on how they currently feel about the economy and who they trust to handle it moving forward. This will be particularly true for independents, and they actually make up the largest bloc of voters at this point. About 30% of the population considers themselves to be Democrats, about 30% of the population considers themselves to be Republican, and almost everyone else considers themselves to be independents. In the end, how independents vote will be of paramount importance, and a brand new survey has discovered that only 23% of independents believe that the U.S. economy is on the right track. A majority of voters think the U.S. economy is on the wrong track, according to a new poll, as the Federal Reserve appears likely to lower interest rates this month after months of holding them steady. The Harvard Capps-Harris poll showed 63% of respondents said the economy is on the wrong track, while 30% said it's on the right track and 8% said they're not sure. Opinions were split along partisan lines, with 54% of Democrats saying the economy is going in the right direction, but only 9% of Republicans say the same. The poll found 23% of independents said it's on the right track. Needless to say, this is horrible news for Kamala Harris. She desperately needs to convince independent voters in the swing states that the policies of the Biden administration have the economy moving in the right direction, and that is not an easy sell. Economic conditions are very tough all over the country right now, and everyone can see it. In a recent editorial, small business owner Bruce Lavelle detailed what things are like in Georgia at this moment. Inflation is crushing small businesses like mine. Between rising costs of supplies, utilities, and gas, it's becoming harder to keep up, and I'm not alone. Families across Georgia are feeling it too. From the grocery store to the gas pump, prices are out of control, making it harder for the working folk to make ends meet. We've all watched as far as our favorite Georgia products like peaches have skyrocketed in price. Peaches were up 25% last year. Chick-fil-A is up 21%. Even Bulldogs game tickets have jumped 45%. This inflation has cost Georgia families more than $27,000 since 2021, and that's a hit most of us just can't afford. The reality is clear. The Biden-Harris administration's reckless spending and misguided policies are to blame, and he is right. The cost of living has been going up much faster than paychecks have, and that's one of the biggest reasons why 37% of Americans are struggling to pay for their most basic expenses. Millions of households are just barely scraping by, and as a result, many are using credit cards to stay afloat. But fast-forwarding just 1 month later, when in a stunning reversal, July consumer credit growth unexpectedly reversed the dramatic June slowdown and soared more than $25 billion to a new record high of $5.093 trillion. Looking at the components, the sudden spike in revolving credit was most notable as credit card debt growth suddenly reversed its recent slowdown, surging by $10.6 billion. That's the biggest monthly increase since February and the second biggest of the year. This is really a really bad time to be raking up credit and the credit card debt, but a lot of people feel they have no choice. Meanwhile, the personal savings rate has fallen to the lowest level since the financial crisis of 2008, yet with consumers ever more strapped for actual cash and equity, as the personal savings rate in the U.S. collapses from over 5% to 2.9%, the lowest since the Lehman bankruptcy in just 1 year, as all the excess savings from COVID are long gone. U.S. consumers have not been in such bad shape since the Great Recession, and now there are signs that the overall economy is rapidly slowing down all around us. For example, a trucking company in Illinois that had about 480 drivers just suddenly ceased operations. An Illinois-based trucking and logistics company, which contracted with the U.S. Postal Service to haul mail, has notified over 650 employees, including more than 480 drivers, that the carrier is ceasing operations, according to sources familiar with the closure. Former truck drivers for Midwest Transport Inc., MTI, headquartered in Robinson, Illinois, told Freight Waves that they received telephone calls from their regional managers late Thursday notifying them the company was winding down operations. And week after week, large banks continued to shut down even more branches. Major banks have shuttered more than 40 locations in just 2 weeks as the local branch bloodbath continues. Chase, Wells Fargo, and Santander were among the banks who closed locations between August 4th and August 18. Bank of America led the way, notifying the regulator that they would be removing 12 of their local branches from use. Last but certainly not least, I did not want to leave the stunning bankruptcy of Big Lots out of this article. Another huge nationwide retailer filed for bankruptcy this morning, raising questions over the future of its 1,400 stores. The Chapter 11 filing from discount home goods retailer Big Lots is the latest from big American retailer and restaurant chains, with the highest profile until now being Red Lobster. A total of 21 have filed for bankruptcies in the first half of this year, the most since the pandemic wreaked havoc with businesses in 2020, S&P said in a July report. Normally, troubled retailers will do whatever is necessary to hang on through the lucrative holiday shopping season before declaring bankruptcy, but apparently Big Lots was so far gone that they were not able to do that. Every piece of bad economic news that we get brings Kamala Harris even closer to defeat and Donald Trump even closer to victory. In my entire lifetime, the economy has played a major role in determining the outcome of almost every single presidential election. And it won't be any different this time around. But no matter what the outcome is, I fully anticipate that there will be widespread chaos afterwards. I have never seen so much political animosity in this country, and there will be tens of millions of people that will be absolutely furious once the results of the election are revealed. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.